name's John Burke. Been married 54 years. I had 2 children. I have 1 left. I retired out of the U.S. Coast Guard after 22 and a half years, and settled here in Woodland. I've been very involved in the city. I've been Citizen of the Year 2012 by the Chamber. I also worked for the Chamber for 7 years. So I put 17 years of being the Planet A president, 24 years as president of the Woodland Grange, 16 years in city council. I did do 12 years, then I took a 10-year break, and then I thought I'd come back. I like giving my help to the community. I've been on the DWR committee, I've been in the Lions Club, the Moose Club, and trying to make 20 years on the city council. And that might be there. So. All right. Good.
Hi, my name is Aaron Brown, and I'm running for position 1 city council also. It's nice to meet you. I'm married. I actually married the girl next door. She moved in next door when we were 10 years old, and we would walk to soccer practice together across the footbridge. And there's still a footbridge there to this day. We have 4 children. All 4 of them have gone through Woodland schools. 2 of them are in college. One of them, of course. We have 4 kids. 2 of them are in college. All 4 of them went through Woodland schools. One of them is a junior at the high school. One of them is at the middle school. And let's see here. We are in our 6th year here in Woodland. We moved here from Brush Prairie, where we were for a number of years, and we were in Camas before that. Speaking of Camas, that's where I work typically, although I do fly around the country quite a bit for my work. On Monday, I'll be back in Washington, D.C. I have a lot of clients in Washington, D.C. I work in the wealth management division for Fisher Investments. And I oversee about $1 billion of assets under management in terms of the relationships that I oversee. You know, I was talking to my daughter before this, and I said, I'm a little nervous. And she said, Dad, you always tell me right before I do something, if I'm nervous, it means I'm probably going to do a good job because I care. That's so true. I do care. And I am nervous. But it's the good kind. Let's see. I'm running because I want to help. I'm running because I love this beautiful city. I'm running because I love to kayak on the lake. My children love to play at the lake. My children have made so many friends at the schools here, and we've built a life. And there's something about this town that brought us here. There's a heart to this city that is truly affective. And so, just like a lot of you, I don't want to see us overwhelmed by people who are coming from other places, even though I'm one of those very, very lucky few. And I feel welcomed by you. And I want to welcome others, but not so fast that all of a sudden we have a Costco in our front yard. What does that look like? I don't know, but I think you all do. And I think we will find out what that is together. And I'm really interested in what you have to say. I really want to listen. I really want to help. And I'm really looking forward to running for City Council Position 1. Thank you.
Okay, now it's our time. Travis, you got a comment or a question? Oh, I just talked about this.
Nope.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, JJ. Now it's our time to have questions for the candidates. And just for you guys, it's a 2-minute response max. So let's start. All right, Tim.
To both of you, I guess, what do you think? We know why you love it here, the same reason we love it here, probably for the most part. But what is it that's broken that you want to address primarily in Woodland? What part of our government or of our life would you address first, and how?
JJ, would you like to go or you want me to go
No, you get the mic.
first? That's a really good question, Tim. Thank you. I don't know that I would call it broken, but I'll go ahead and use that word. But what I understand and what I've heard from the local community is that communications between the city and the port and the school district are in early growth, early regrowth. And I'm in favor of that because ultimately it helps our kids. And so I guess what I would say is, thank goodness something is no longer totally broken, but to your point, I think it was, and I think it is an early repair. So I'm very interested in finding out more about that and how we can all collaborate through that together.
I think growth is good, but we need to fix
Hey,
the
JJ.
infrastructure, in order to get the growth. We want to know the best, what do we want to do?
Can you speak up a little
Okay.
bit, JJ?
There.
I'm not used to holding the mic.
All right. Want me to hold it for you?
Yeah. We just gotta do it carefully.
What is it?
What's that?
What is it you want to fix?
Well, we need to fix our roads.
Okay.
We need to get the exit 21 done. We need to work on getting that done. We need to make it safe. You know, personally, I feel that by the time we get exit 21, we're gonna be behind anyway. It's gonna take so long. So we need to look at that and see what we need to do.
Thank you. All right, Asha.
Asha Riley, Woodland School District. Nice to meet you both. Right back here, JJ.
Oh,
Short, sorry. I asked this in the last meeting, and I think it's worth asking both of you. And you have two different perspectives. Somebody who's been here a long time and somebody who's been here for about 6 years, you said? And I'm somewhere in between, about 22 years. I have not yet heard it defined who is Woodland. What is the identity of this community that we want to continue to grow? And I don't mean the size of the community. I mean supporting the business growth and bringing people to our community because. What's the because? Who are we? How would you describe that based on your perspectives coming at different times? What's our identity here? I know there's a lot of communities. Camas has kind of its own identity, Vancouver, Battleground. What would you describe Woodlands?
JJ, we'll start with you.
So what is actually the question?
How would you describe Woodland's identity?
Who is Woodland?
Who is Woodland? The people who live in Woodland, in the whole area. Yeah, okay, the people who live in Woodland, and that's how I describe it. But we need to work together, of course. We need to work with the school. We've done that in the past, and we still do it. We work with the port very well, I think. We work with the school. In fact, I think we just put a new resource officer in there. And that's all through the city. And so I think we're doing good on all those aspects. Yeah.
It's JJ. I agree, by the way, on exit 21. Atlantic and Pacific both need a lot of help. And we've been at that for probably 10, 15, 16 years at least. So I'm looking forward to helping out with that. I think Woodland's identity is kindness. I think Woodland's identity is family, community, and small business, which is actually what I realized ought to be what I run on. So that's what I put on my campaign signs also, and I'm not doing it to be cheesy. I'm doing it because I'm like, well, what is it that I can stand on? What is it that Woodland stands on that everyone can agree is worthwhile? And it's family, community, and small business. That includes agriculture. because it isn't big biz. You know, it's not like agriculture is fat cats with cigars. So I did have this thought early on, like before the meeting started. It's kind of like Woodland's kind, but don't mistake our kindness for weakness. And so that's how I would apply our thinking maybe around population growth. Growth will happen. We should welcome it, but how we welcome it should be careful and scaled up in orientation. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. All right, Keith.
All right, to Aaron first. What's a small overlooked issue in Woodland that you think deserves more attention?
I'm giving it some thought. That's a good question. I think there's more opportunity for community involvement in and around the lake. And I think there's more opportunity for community involvement in and around 100 Davidson. I feel like we have a lot of evidence from early event success, right? Over the last few years, Hot Summer Nights, for example, and Movies at the Park have gained momentum. To me, that's an interesting piece of information because that tells me that people, oh, actually, I knew this from the moment before we moved here, that Woodland shows up. Woodland does show up. And when I'm down kayaking on the lake, I go there most mornings. That's the way I get my exercise, is on Horseshoe Lake. I'm amazed at how, and by the way, in a selfish way, I'm amazed at how few people are down there. And I'm like, sweet, I've got the place to myself. But at the same time, you look around at Horseshoe Lake and I really do see opportunity there for more and more and more community events, larger scale. Woodland has capacity for larger scale events, and we do show clearly over time that we show up, that Woodland shows up.
The question is, what's a small overlooked issue in Woodland that you think deserves more attention?
We need to get more volunteers in the city. We need the chamber to work hard, helping keep things going. Downtown revitalization, we need to get them all to work together, but the thing is, we need volunteers. That's one of our fallbacks. Nobody wants to volunteer anymore. Well, not nobody, because we all work there.
Same people.
Volunteer. And just keep it going.
Is there a city position titled volunteer coordinator that you could hire for?
I don't think anyone, Travis, do you know? No, there's not. I trust you guys with the answer, but.
We need someone to volunteer for that.
You know, this was like a moment for Tim Welch. Good job, we like you, so. All right, very good.
Either one could be first, but what would you do to help revitalize downtown Woodland?
You know, that's a hard thing, because a lot of these buildings are being taken up, not in the proper place, such as certain businesses. We don't have much downtown. Yeah, we don't have much downtown buildings. I think we got Freddy's. I think they just started to work on that one. What's left there? The 1910 building, I don't see anything happening on that. The one across from the City Hall, that one they have somebody living upstairs, but it'll cost too much to fix those places to get them up to standards. There's got to be a way that they can fix that somehow, but I can't get that necessary. You know, I think we should be able to just fix them up to make them safe. Don't have to go all the way. I wish we can do that. We have to work with the city.
How to revitalize downtown. Yeah, I gotta start with events. I gotta start with community events, because that's what brings people down to the city. People come down to the city for planners days. People come down to the city for hot summer nights and for movies at the park. People come downtown in a couple of weeks for Halloween and for trick or treating and for Winterfest. Winterfest is going to be amazing this year, by the way. It's going to be our biggest one yet. We're going to have a whole market, bunch of vendors down there. We're going to have, of course, Santa and the whole works. So, and why would I get so excited about that? Because everyone in the community gets excited about things like that. And when you get people downtown, and when businesses who are potentially going to start, namely small businesses, and they see that there's a demographic, they're going to start that business. And when that business starts, commerce happens. People buy, people sell, and that's free markets. That's how a business grows. That's how a town grows. That's how a downtown grows. I think, but bigger than anything else, I guess I would say the old cliche, you tell me. Because part of how to grow a downtown, part of how to grow a city is collaboratively and listening to one another. So I don't know that I have the corner on the ideas, that is, on all the ideas on how to grow downtown Woodland, but I sure am listening.
So I have a follow-up on that then. Having tried to lease, so the vacant buildings are all owned by most of the same company. The lease rates for those buildings are horrendous. In terms of the commercial property within Woodland, it's rough. There's new and relatively expensive, there's terrible and cheap, and then there's downtown, which is terrible and expensive.
Question, please.
Yes. So the question is, what is your? I don't know what to do. What do you believe the role of government is to help address what's going on in downtown in terms of the accessibility of leasing those buildings and revitalizing what's going on downtown? And should the government be involved? And if so, what role should they play in that?
Very little, if at all, should the government be involved. Rent controls, I think is your question.
No. Just, rent control could be an answer. It's just, should they be involved in what would?
Okay,
what would that
yes. My answer is very little, because I believe in the free market. I believe that supply and demand drives price, always and everywhere. Price is a function of supply and demand. Always. And everywhere. So, if that's the case, then what we need to work on is how to open up downtown somehow. I understand a couple of the buildings aren't, I guess I understood differently. I understood that there's actually some private ownership downtown, especially that beautiful building, the 1910 building, which I also understand is used as a depreciation tax write-off by the folks who own it, who have since moved to Virginia or the East Coast or something like that.
Nevada.
How do you fix that? What's that? Nevada, okay, not that far east, but still east.
They don't have a vested interest in it. So.
Okay, so like, very little involvement, and the best way to create more growth would again be communication. Somehow sitting down with the folks who are using 1910 as an example as a depreciating asset and finding out what the price is that they would need to be paid to have that asset be repurposed, perhaps sold. I don't know what that would look like. But I think that's kind of the way the free market would fix it much more likely than government overreach.
As far as the government being involved, I guess what you want to know. We have Downtown Revitalization Committee, which is trying to help build the downtown, which is a good thing. The city doesn't really get into it, but I mean, we all try to, as different people, different communities that are working are asking people, but like I said, we gotta get the buildings, in order to be occupied, you gotta get the landlord to do something with the building. We can't go build it. We can look and see if we can get them cheaper loans to get the job done. Cheaper interest rates, of course, and that's the only way I can see to fix downtown.
Okay, thank you.
Hi folks, Ross Whitley, Taylor Transport. My question is for both candidates. What is your vision of Woodland in 10 years? Where do you see Woodland in 10 years from now?
Well, my vision, and I see, in 10 years, I see a new exit 21 to be done, we hope. I'm figuring by 30, 2030, that thing should be taken off and, or even done, maybe. We're gonna run out of room to build any more houses here. Unless we, get some more land into the city limits, then we can get some more housing. Personally, I like to see us stay small. You know, I mean, this was a small community, people want to see the small community now for this. You know, we're at about 6,500 right now, right around there.
Hold the mic, please.
Sure, but I think it's right around 65.
JJ, hold the mic. Thank you.
It's heavy. I think we're at 6,500, but that's what we gotta do.
Aaron?
Oh.
I agree. I think we should stay small. And people are moving here nonetheless. So small and scaled up would be how I would answer this, because people are coming and they're moving here. Businesses, gosh willing, are coming here also because that's what will help our town stay strong. So I would say stay small, yet stay strong, and be willing to scale up. But be willing to scale up carefully and planfully and be on our toes about it. Like, receive people who move here. Receive people in a planful way with ordinances that are already in place, so that when folks get here, we already have a plan for what infrastructure is going to receive them and what we're going to do about it. I don't have the corner on those ideas, Travis does. But at the same time, I think that my vision for Woodland would be a growing, beautiful town that grows on its own accord and grows in its own way that it prefers, that it assigns to itself, rather than the growth that's assigned to it by other folks. And I keep using our friends to the south as a benchmark. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beneficial and useful and resourceful. Our neighbors to the south, I do a lot of shopping there. It's fantastic. And if I lived there, I think I'd pull my hair out. I don't know how long I could deal with it. It reminds me of this area in West Portland called Murray Hill. I don't know if you've ever been to Murray Hill, but it's nuts. And so I guess in a nutshell again, my vision is a small town that grows into a small city, that grows into that on its own accord.
Thank you.
Are there other small cities that are what you have in mind for Woodland that you can emulate, or talk to their city leaders and find out what their plan is?
It's a great question.
Is this just to Aaron or to both? To both. Okay.
Yes.
So her question, to recap, is: are there comparable cities to speak to that are looking in the same direction, or how they're able to maintain?
Well, are there other cities that you know of that have accomplished what your vision is for Woodland, that you could communicate with their leaders and find out how they did it?
Yes, this is a great question. And before I say this, I want to say the example I'm going to use is a much larger version than what I would envision Woodland to be, okay? This area of the state is absolutely burgeoning with people and economically doing very, very well. And the area I'm referring to is Camas Washougal. When we first moved to Camas, the only real functioning business in town was the paper mill and the tavern that was right across the street. And man, that tavern did well on off hours. And now that city is growing into such an interesting town with boutiques, with this amazing restaurant called the Restaurant Mesa, which is like some of the best Latin American food you will ever have. The thing that I think is so interesting about Camas, what they did was a scavenger hunt, is a scavenger hunt. They have what they call, I think, is like Fabulous Fridays. I won't try to butcher what they call it. But they have this event where they get together and all of the town comes down and goes from business to business and does a scavenger hunt and collects things at that business, which is really, really cool. So that would be the community side of consultation I get from Camas. The other side I'd be interested in hearing about is how they figured out how to get a developer to come in. And again, I don't want this for Woodland, but I do want the smarts that went behind this thought process for Woodland, okay? Again, what I'm about to say, I don't want this for Woodland, but I do want the intellect behind it. Okay, the developer has come in to the port of Camas and Washougal, and they have bought the entire project. All of the real estate, all of the intellectual property, all of the design work. And they will build the city, they will build it out. They will build out the port, and the design plans are absolutely beautiful. And then in 5 years, they will deed the project back to the city. And the developer will move on. The city will buy it back through a very intelligent way of being designed. So, what
Okay,
city would I like to talk to would be Camas Washougal.
This could be a tough one. If we compare to other cities, we have several cities that we compare to see what they're doing, what we're not doing, what can we copy. In fact, we've taken some good stuff that Kalama had. We've incorporated it into our laws for water, sewer, and stuff like that. So we have looked with other cities. And we do it all the time, just about any time.
All right, thank you.
Anything else on that?
I have a question for each of you. JJ, you've been on council 16 years. What's been the greatest accomplishment since you've been on the council? And for Aaron, what is the biggest issue you see facing Woodland in the future? And what you would like to go after first?
JJ?
Okay. Want to repeat that question?
What's your greatest accomplishment with 16 years on the council?
What is my major accomplishment? Make
Yeah.
sure the rules have been followed by the mayor, number one.
What was that? Say it again?
Making sure the mayor does his job the proper way. Make sure that I look at trying to get the council to not do things on a whim, just to do something. Don't do their homework, and they get a plan usually out by Friday. The council needs to read that, follow it, and if they don't read that stuff, how can you approve something like that? And so I'll bring that up to the council, and so we all have to do our part, our job to get it done. My major accomplishments.
1 minute.
Oh, I got 1 minute? Yeah, my major accomplishments is Planners Day and those things that I've mentioned. And I've done quite a bit in the years. I've been mayor pro tem for 3 years. My first few terms. Then I kind of got sick a little bit and took a 10-year vacation, came back and figured out get back into things.
All right. Aaron, before you answer, this will be the last answer, and then I'll give you each 3 minutes to give a closing statement.
The two issues that I think would be most interesting to tackle would first be, I guess, public traffic safety, roundabouts, traffic signals. I understand that Kittleson and Company have given quite a bit of good consult and that it's in PS&E phase right now, which is pretty much early pre-implementation phase. So I would wager that we've got 5 years or less. I would more than hope. Hope's kind of weak. I have faith that within the next 5 years we will have exit 21 improved at Pacific and Atlantic. And especially, gosh almighty, getting off of I-5 North onto exit 21 will be improved. The second thing I would tackle would be downtown revitalization, because downtown is where the heart and soul of Woodland or any city begins. We've got half the heart going really, really well on the east side of town, where the east hardware store is, which I love. But the west hardware store, right downtown, True Value, I also love that hardware store. So we need to get the downtown Woodland area some love. And I guess I would say very casually, that's what I'd be interested in as well, both public safety and revitalization of downtown Woodland.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna give Chuck one last question, really fast.
Since Darlene's not paying attention, I have to ask the Darlene question. Uh-oh. I hear small. I've heard small for the last 10 years. That's all great. You know, you hang out with Asha for about 5 minutes and you find out that we have this amazing amount of talent in our schools. And this amazing amount of talent gets done with high school and leaves. My question is specifically, what would you guys do to increase the number of family wage jobs so that our talent stays here?
Thank you, Darlene Jr. Eric, we'll let you go first. Keep it to 1 minute, and then JJ 1 minute.
That is a great question. Let me think about that for a moment. How to create family wage jobs. I think one good way is through the kids, actually. And I think one good way would be through coordination with the school district, with the city, and with the port. And actually, other cities have done this. The Big Brother, Big Sister program. What if there was some sort of a system that was created between the city, the port, and the school that had some kind of an ongoing mentorship program that got kids more involved with the port, got kids more involved with local government? Maybe that would be the genesis of job creation as well. Again, the creation of jobs itself comes from the free markets. It comes from supply and demand. So the way we would get more supply and demand features to come to the local economy, more volume to drive that supply and demand, would be exactly that. It would be to effectively bring people
JJ?
Family wage jobs. We need to do that, and it's working. The board is making a lot of family wage jobs. As far as down around the city, it's kind of hard. You know, I mean, they're all small businesses. We've got a few in the city limits, you know, like the dog food plant and stuff like that. But we're already doing it.
You have 30 more seconds if you want. No? All right. Thank you for answering our questions. Let's give them a round of applause. Then we'll have them get All right, Aaron, if you'll go first.
I just want to say thank you very much for the excellent questions and for having me today and for your consideration for Aaron Brown for City Council Position 1. I was a really fortunate kid because I got to graduate from Jesuit High School in Portland, Oregon in the top 3% of my class. And I was there on work study. I was there My parents couldn't afford to send me there, but I worked really hard to get into that school, and it taught me a lot about how to earn and how to really, really love what I earn. I guess I refer to that because I see Woodland as a place that is growing and really loves what it's up to also, and I continue to see Woodland reprove itself to be a strong town that has so much kindness in it. So without going on and on about it, I guess I'm really excited for the opportunity to work with you and work for you and to listen to you. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I appreciate your time.
And again, I said thank you all for that. Just want to give you a little information about me. I also am from Massachusetts, and some people can tell by the accent I have. I lived there for 17 years and then I went into the military. Then when I got out of the military, I came here to Woodland. Don't ask me how I did that, but I did, and I've enjoyed it. I love the city. I love seeing it like it is. I'd like to see it stay small, but you know, that's the way things go. People buy land, they can build on it. You can't stop them. And so I look for your vote. I'm J. Burke, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you to both of our candidates. It's hard being up here answering questions sometimes, especially there's the nerves and then there's trying to remember. And they've both done a great job. We're grateful for them for being willing to step up and run in our community. Are there any last minute announcements for the good of the chamber order before we close? Aaron.